to pray. There's no angels where I go, only pieces that are broken, scattered dreams across the floor. I'm home.
Alrighty, hello everybody, this is Show here. Now then, let us begin. When we last left off, Deku, him, and Toga had just gotten done with the final exams, along with the fact that Todoroki and Momo are finally together now. With, albeit, not the way they wanted to, they kinda ended up just confessing to each other during their exam. Now then, let us continue. They would be heading home as Deku, he would just get interrupted by All Might. All Might would just catch him on the way home and tell him that he needs to essentially come with him. He won the sports festival, and with that, he has won a trip to Island. Along with that, he does actually want to see an old friend and show him a bit of the things around there. Along with the fact that you may actually find Cork-style equipment for you. In fact, I do believe Vlad King got something from there. Oh, you mean Uncle Vlad? Yes, I believe that's what you call him. Yeah, I've been a bit too busy with schoolwork, but I haven't seen him in forever. Well, how have you not seen him? He's a teacher at UA. Are you serious? It's incredible. Yeah, he's the 1B teacher. Now, Deku, he would just head home as he would find that he would need to get his bags packed. He would get them packed, and Toga would get hers packed, as she is also coming along. Now, Todoroki and Momo, they're talking with Deku and Toga as they would all find out that they're going to Island. Getting into contact with a lot more of the class, they would find that everyone is going. So they can consider this to be a class field trip if they wanted to, but it's more like a vacation. Now, with that, they would be on the plane as Deku and Toga are ecstatic. Now, whenever they do land on the island, people are immediately just watching as it's All Might, along with the fact that the number 3 hero and the number 2 hero are there. Now, people are actually getting autographs and signing things as someone would just quite simply look at Deku and ask what's he even doing with all the pros. Along with the fact that they're confused as to why that blonde girl's with him. They would just have to explain the entire situation with, they're kind of my parents and I won the sports festival, but along with that, basically explaining everything. With the fact that eventually he would just say that they had to take a different plane here, but she finally got here. Oh, no. Deku and Toga, they'd just be walking around as quite a lot of people are staring at them. Now, this is whenever Melissa's shield would just run up as she is ecstatic. She would just be asking Deku more questions about his quirk as she just starts going off and starting to ramble. Along with the fact that she immediately just turns her head towards Toga and immediately starts asking her questions about hers. Now, with that, basically, Deku would just have to flash his eyes and actually get her to stop talking. And she would have somewhat jump back out of fear, but she would just immediately just get a bit curious. As she just starts asking more questions. Eventually, Deku would have gotten her to calm down, but she is ecstatic at this point. As she would get signatures from these heroes and immediately just go on saying that she can't believe that he's the successor to All Might. I'm sorry? Yeah, you have one for all though. Wait, are you not his successor? No. Is she then? Well, no, actually, it's one of our other friends. Wait, so you're telling me both of you two beat the successor? Well, actually, she did, but she used my abilities. Oh, that makes sense then. Now, With that, eventually, Momo and Todoroki would arrive, and they would all meet. As Melissa's kind of confused as to why these four all know about it. Now, eventually, Deku would have to do some explaining along with Momo, and this is whenever Melissa would just introduce to Momo the prototype she's created. That allows her to go at 100%. Essentially, All Might did call her one day telling her about this flaw, but he kind of just called again a couple months later explaining that she somewhat has control now, but it may be a bit difficult. In my curiosity, I still did want to build it for those who do have enhancement quirks, so I continued my research. In fact, I would like you to at least try it out. As Momo would put it on and begin. Oh. Momo would try it on and begin somewhat charging herself up, as she would actually find she can use it properly. Now, she was just going explaining everything about the 100% move, as Deku and Toga are just off, basically, enjoying a lot of things about the park and actually having quite a bit of fun. Now, with that, Deku, he would have taken Toga out on a date and actually do a bit of the things at the actual fair. Get cotton candy, go on some roller coasters, win some prizes, and probably go to a cafe to get something to eat for lunch. Just something simple. Now, eventually they would have came back as Melissa would just go on explaining more and more about this equipment. Deku would just simply ask her if she's okay. She would just say that she is, she's just quite a bit excited, as after hearing about his quirk and how it's a mix of the two, she started getting to work on this. As she would just hold up one simple thing. It looks like a blood vial, but it's a bit bigger. In fact, it looks to be like the size of Deku's thermos. Melissa would just say to Deku that this is a specialized thing. She understands his whole need for human blood, so she's kind of modified and tweaked it a bit, so it should work. It's able to keep your, the blood you have inside at a constant 98.6 body temperature. Along with the fact that it also comes with this, as she would just push down one thing, revealing quite a bit of needles. Deku would see these and he's a bit whoa about that, and she would just say, sorry, as she would just remove some of them. As she does that, Deku would just watch as she just puts it down again and it's only one needle. Saying that he can essentially just, put this into an opponent and take some of their blood, and have it for later consumption. Along with the fact that you just press this mechanism, as she would press it and the needle would fall off, being replaced with another one. You can basically stop people from, sharing. Which Deku would just understand. He would accept this as it's actually a little bit bigger than his regular thermos. Telling her thank you. Now, with that, she would try asking Toga more about her quirk, and Toga would just explain what happened with Deku after he bit her, giving her some of his blood, along with, her own quirk. Now, she is ecstatic and even more fangirling, knowing that apparently Deku's quirk can do this to another person. She would just ask for a little bit of blood to run some tests on it, as this is the most advanced place on the planet. Deku would have given her some, as she would just begin running a bit of test. Now, she would just tell Todoroki that she creating things for him, and in fact, anyone with half and half quirks, but those items are a bit trickier, as you have to account for two different things, if not usually a lot more. But she at least did make him these, as she would just hold up a pair of, Not shades, but they're basically like high-tech goggles. Basically, what these are is they allow you to see your entire opponent. In fact, it even follows and tracks them. Now, with that, it also does come preset with, well, mapping systems. So basically, he can map out the routes of whatever he wants to fire at. Now, that being said, they would all be leaving. And Melissa would get back to work, in fact, testing Deku's blood on different things. With that, they would all go back down to the actual area, where they hear explosions going off. Now, they would arrive, and Deku, he's just watching this. As Bakugo, he's blowing up more robots, and he would get about, I believe he got 8 seconds in cannon, so let's say that he got 9 or 10 seconds here, as he was being a bit more reckless. Now, he would just immediately see them, as he would just start asking why they're even here. Now, with that, Deku, he would just say that All Might brought them here after he won. So he might as well at least try out the course. Now, Deku would just immediately hold up a needle, as he would just, well, not the needle, but he would just immediately hold up a little blood vial, as he would just drink it down. People are somewhat confused by this, as Deku would just step onto the course and just begin by taking off his shirt. A lot of people are watching what he's doing, as he would just immediately just create a pair of wings on his back, and his skin does transform. People are watching him as Deku, he actually is in a running start. As soon as he hears go, he immediately takes off forward with his wings, basically lunging forward. Just smashing and tearing his way through a robot, and as soon as he gets brought up to one of the three-pointers, he would have grabbed it, flown up, and immediately thrown it into other robots, as he's taking them all down, getting a solid 5 seconds. Now, as soon as he does that, people would just be intrigued as Deku, he would just come back over, untransform, and fold his wings behind his back for a second. As he does that, hang on. Now, since Deku did fold his wings behind his back, people are actually looking at him and staring at him, as someone would begin cheering him on, and others nicknaming him Dracula, as they would just say that that's the guy with the blood quirk from UA, right? As people are cheering him on, saying that he's going to be a top hero. Now, Bakugo actually does get mad, as he would just say, top hero his ass. You're still just going to be some vampire boy. Oh, really? Well, I'll start talking, well, your opinion will matter to me whenever your score gets a little higher, Bakugo. Now, with that, Bakugo is a bit mad. Todoroki would just immediately step onto the course, as he would just say that this is not the time or place. But hey, at least let me give it a shot. I might be able to beat his score. Go for it. I'd love to see you try. Even then, I'm going up again. I'll bet I'll even get 4 seconds this time. Now, people are watching as they're all arguing, and this is whenever Deku and Bakugo would just be told to get off the course. They would do so as Todoroki, he would just immediately hear go, and he doesn't just cover the arena in ice, he also covers it in fire. As he does that, he would be told that he got a solid 3 seconds, as he is declared the fastest time. Now, with that, Deku, he isn't surprised, saying, good job, but, I thought we were supposed to use our physical strength. Okay, vampire boy. Okay, icy hot. Now, Togo would just walk up, along with Momo, as Deku would just grab Toga by the hand, walking away, and Todoroki and Momo would just go and try and have a bit of fun. Actually doing what they did earlier since they missed out. Having a bit of fun, going on roller coasters and doing all that. Along with the fact that later they would all go and get dressed so that they can get to the sports banquet. Sports banquet, no. That's I don't exactly the special event that was being held on the island. Now, that being said, everyone is watching as Deku. He is wearing somewhat of a classier outfit. If you guys have ever seen like a business vest, imagine that and then an outfit above it. So like a three-piece suit. Now, Toga, I want to say she's wearing a red dress, and people are watching as they would all show up. Melissa would just tell Deku that from the research she's been doing on his quirk, it's a bit weird, but not abnormal. But, well, the effects may not be permanent. Permanent? Well, the physical boost. From what my research shows, they shouldn't be permanent, but whatever is going on with Toga, it's weird. Okay. I'm not sure exactly what you mean, but I'll just bring it up. Now, with that being said, this is whenever the banquet will begin and everyone will begin dancing, as they are all interrupted by a man saying that they essentially are holding the place hostage. This is whenever Deku, he would try and spring into action, but this is whenever All Might, he would just get immediately attacked and restrained. Deku, as soon as went to move, he would have been restrained also. Along with the fact that I believe these restraints stop your quirk. So, let's say for the sake of it that they do, because All Might could have easily burst through those things. Now, Deku, he's just watching this as Deku, he's a bit more confused. They start trying to restrain everyone in the room, as Momo, she would just be running around trying to take these guys down. Anytime they do try and restrain her, she does create something to get out of it. Now, that being said, eventually Todoroki, he would help her and get set free. They would start untying people as All Might, he would just tell them that he can handle the situation here, they just need to go. Momo wouldn't really understand as she would just run on stage, telling All Might how long can he hold this up for. All Might would go over saying that he can hold it up for quite a while, but he just doesn't, want to. Which is basically him being vague, saying not for long. Now, he would just tell her to untie him really quickly as she would just do one thing. She would just create a smoke grenade as she would pull it and immediately just drop it, actually taking off running. All Might would have used that time to basically buff down and immediately slip out as he would buff back up again, immediately just ripping up the cords and letting go of them. Now, this is whenever he would start making his way up to the top floor with the students. Deku and Toga are already up there as they are starting to smash their way through and actually get through the robots with Kirishima and the rest. With that, they are immediately just getting overcome by wave after wave as people are watching this. Toga would just drink some of Bakugo's blood after essentially asking him if she can take some. Bakugo said whatever as he would have just held out his arm. She would have taken some and actually copied his quirk as they began busting through the first wave of robots, eventually coming to the second floor, where you have those guys who just... Those guys are actually trying to round up the rest of the people who are not actually there. Now, as soon as they see that Deku, he would have just buffed up, if not turned into his vampire form, as he would be he would have just told them to basically just turn out the lights, because he could take them down easily. Now, they're just saying that that's not a good idea, and Deku, he would just immediately rush in after, well, let's say a random person, or, well, not Mineta, he's not here. I want to say the wind guy, or possibly even Kaminari would be the stupid guy who was just like running around trying to do things. But eventually, let's say it was him. He would have just been running around trying to figure things out, as Deku would just rush in, blowing away this guy with the wind quirk. If not the quirk where he just throws around air. Now, he would have done so as he begins the battle against this guy with a giant pink form, or purple form. These two are basically fighting as eventually, Todoroki, he would have just blasted ice in that direction, and Deku would have just jumped backwards, somewhat falling out of the form as he only is using the wings. Now, as that happens, Deku, he would have just opened up his thermos, drinking some blood, as he would immediately feel the effects of it, as people do actually watch his eyes glaze over red. They're a bit more crimson. Well, their color is a darker shade of red, as Deku would just screw the cap back on and immediately turn, walking toward the area, as he just begins to run. People are watching how much focus is in Deku's face, as they would all just begin following him. They would find the event with David's shield, where he's trying to basically talk to the man and stop him from taking his device. But as soon as the man would basically be explaining this, Deku, he would have ran in, and this is whenever, Melissa would be confronted with the fact that her father is doing this, basically creating weapons. Now, with that, this is whenever the man would fire the gun, as Deku would immediately just jump in the way, or just use telekinesis to catch the bullet out of the air, making it just drop. Now, as soon as that happened, Deku, he would return as he would try using telekinesis on the men, but he would just immediately have to defend against the entire group of men running in with guns, essentially holding back the bullets like they're an invisible wall. After that, everyone would come running in as Deku would just take these men down and start running toward the roof. People are watching this, and this is whenever All Might, he would finally make his presence known. The man would have taken off as All Might would just jump up into the air, throwing his hands out forward, smashing them together, and they would have been set off course a bit. Now, with that, Deku, he would have immediately seen this as he would have just jumped upwards, grabbing the helicopter and immediately trying to climb on. These men are in shock as this is insane. They can't believe these are first years. One of the men would have been trying to kick Deku in the face as he would have finally gotten Deku off the helicopter. Now, All Might would have been able to, I want to say, at least hit the tail rotor or at least get it to spin it. Well, basically get off course, sending it back down. Now, with that, the man would just put on the device as you have Deku just essentially laying on the ground for a second, somewhat trying to concentrate on what's going on. Deku's having a case of sensory overload with the fact that this is a bit too strange for him. Now, Momo and Todoroki, along with Togo, to come blasting onto the roof, as Momo is actually wearing this device on her arm. She would have just run over telling Deku to get back up, as this is whenever Togo would just look at Deku's eyes. Deku was just standing there, just holding onto his ears, trying to figure out what's going on. She would have ran over to... Now, as Togo would have finally snapped Deku out of it, she would just say that she needs a favor. She is out of blood, and she needs to copy his quirk. But well, as Deku would just say that go ahead. Toga would just, well, bring up a needle as she would just poke it into Deku's neck, actually taking out some of his blood. As that happens, she immediately just unscrews the top, drinking it as she would feel her power boost. In fact, she actually does start feeling what Deku has been going through, with the sensory overload. Deku having to shake her out of it this time, and get her into focus. As the man, he's going through this whole villain monologue, putting on his, well, device. Todoroki, he would have immediately just begun by blasting ice in his direction or creating walls, to make everyone safe so that they would not get injured. Now, Momo is just throwing around 100% as this is the first time she's been able to use it without hurting herself. And this time, All Might, him and Momo would do the, well, they're going to do the double Texas Smash or double Detroit Smash. And Deku, he is actually just trying to hold off and actually keep these tendrils or these giant, well, the robot from destroying the building. Basically making sure not to let them injure it. As All Might and Momo would just smash through the robot, destroying it. Deku would have seen the man falling as he would have just jumped off the roof, creating a pair of wings. Flying over, catching him, and immediately just throwing him back on the roof. As he would have landed. Now, the man would just be in shock as Deku would just bare his teeth at the man, telling him to give them answers. As the man would just come clean. Now, everyone is, well, they're tired and they're fatigued and, well, it's a bit too much for them. Considering the fact that they just dealt with the, well, threat All Might could barely deal with on his own. Now, with that being said, everyone would just pack up their things and go back to the mainland. And this is where go back to Japan, really. Now then, this is where I'm going to be leaving things off of, guys. I do hope you enjoyed the video, and I will try and record another one in a minute.